Hello friends, today we are going to discuss about Startup.cs class. In our last video we have discussed the program.cs class in detail. Now in this video we will discuss Startup.cs class. So if we start from the here, what is the Startup.cs class? It is like a global.asx in our classical ASP.NET projects. Like in our previous MVC5 or MVC project or ASP.NET project, you have seen the global.asx file. So it is that global.asx file is not available in our .NET Core project. So similar to that, we have the startup.cs file. So we are going to discuss the startup.cs file. If we start this from the namespace, all namespace are present at the top of the page. So here one thing we have to understand. So all this using .system, system.collection.generic are similar to this, but in .NET Core, Microsoft has introduced some more namespaces that started with Microsoft.ASP.NET Core. Okay, after that, the class name. And this class name is by default is startup. If you want to change, you can change the name of startup as per your convenience. If we go to program.cs class and if you remove this and check the IntelliSense, it will come here iWebHostBuilder.use startup of T startup. So what is this T startup? T startup means you can write your anything you can use like my startup, or I will use my channel name like Tech Hub Startup. So you can use as per your convenience. It is not mandatory. The class name should be the startup. In this startup class, method, two main public methods are available. First is I configuration service. Sorry, first is I configure service, and another is a configure. So before we start with configure service, I have to tell one thing that .NET Core comes with inbuilt IOC container, means inversion of controller, which include dependency injection as well. So that dependency injection is another topic we will discuss in our upcoming videos. So this configure service method include iService collection parameter to register services to the IOC container. This configure service, this is the place where you can register your dependent classes with the built-in IOC container. After registering dependent classes, it can be used anywhere in the whole application. You just need to pass it in the parameter of the constructor of any class where you want to use it. The IOC container will inject automatically and you can use anywhere in your application. So if we check this iService collection, what is this? If we right click and if we go to definition, you can check here this is an empty interface. It just inherited the service descriptor, means I collection, comma, I enumerable of descriptor or I list of service descriptor. It is just inherited. So if we come again to startup.cs, here one more method is called on this services.add controller with views. So here is the one point. If you select any project, we have selected MVC project. If you select any razor pages or API project, only API project, here one line will be there. Any of the project like add controller with views, add controllers, again. So there, let's see what are will be the available. So if you right click on add controllers with view and go to definition, so any of them will be available in startup.cs if you select any of the web application project from .NET Core. So what will be the add controllers, add controller with views, add MVC, add razor pages. So any of these four methods are there. Any of this will be available here. Let's see what are these methods in detail. I will open one image. I have separated all the features which is supported in all the four method and which is not supported in all these four. So we will start from the first one, which is controller support. The controller support will available in all these four methods. This feature is available in all the things. After as model binding, this also supported in all the four methods. This feature also supported, and the model binding is used to map the incoming data to the controller action method. So I have written some description also here. So after that, API support. If we check this API explorer support, it is not available in add razor pages, but it is available in all the three. Except three, it is available. After that, authorization is a security feature, so it is available in all the four: add MVC, add controller, add razor pages, add controller with views. It is available in all the four. After authorization, course is there. Course is not available in add razor pages. Other than this add razor pages, it is available in all the three. So CORS is basically a feature that allows CORS domain call. That means from other domain they can access your method using AJAX call. So it is available in add controller, add MVC, and add controller with views. After that, the validation. Validation is also available in all the four methods. After format mapping, it is not available in add razor pages. Except this, it is available in other three. After that, enter anti-forgery, temp data, views, pages, and helper tag methods. Tag helper methods, they are not available in add controller. Except this add controller, they are available in add MVC, add controller with views, and add razor pages. So these are the feature available in the four methods we have discussed. And one more thing, this I collection, and we will return to this startup.cs. This I service collection, if you go, it is an extension method of I collection. It is an extension method of dependency injection. So after that, we'll go to the configure method. If we read this method get called by the runtime. Use this method to configure the HTTP request pipeline. So this is the place where you can configure the application request pipeline for your application using iApplication Builder. iApplication Builder instance. It will provided by the built-in IOC container. So you can use this. So, and this iWeb host environment is used to provide the information about web hosting after the application is in running mode. So if we come inside this configure method, you can check here environment.is development. If your project is in under development and if any exception occurred, it will call the use exception page, developer exception page. This will call. Otherwise, if it is an uh, production, it will call the home.error method. So what is this home? If you go to controller, home controller, here you will get the error method. It will call this method if it is in production, if it is in not in development. So after this else condition, we can see this use HTTP redirection. So what is this use HTTP redirection? Suppose if your application is HTTP binded, but sometimes if user write HTTP colon your application name.com, so after that it will redirect that HTTP to HTTPS. Let's check if any browser, if I write google.com, and if we check here, it is https colon google.com. If I remove this s and again and I load the page, you can check here, it again redirect to https. So the same functionality is done by use https redirection method. So anytime if the user enter http of your application name.com, your domain name, it will redirect to https. So after that, use static files method is called. So what is this use static files? If you gone through our first video where we discuss about the project structure, we have discussed about www root folder, web root folder. So all this folder contains the static files of your application like js, css, javascript files, any of js file is there you are using in your application, all are available here. So if here files are available like uploaded files, if your application having the uploaded functionality, it will upload here, you can upload here. So all this, if you want to fetch these files, js files, then you have to use this static files method. If you if you don't use, it will not get downloaded, and that javas any js file, css file not get downloaded at the client side. So after that, routing. So this, if we see this use routing, app.use routing, this is responsible for mapping the incoming url to find the best matching point. Here we have to understand one thing, which is the thing which comes after routing and comes before endpoint. The information means in this, between this whatever come, it will used to add, this is used to add additional check before the endpoint is executed. So what are these additional check? It can be like checking course configuration or authentication or authorization. So it will come between this, the additional checks. So after that, the use endpoint. Use as endpoint is a terminal middleware. So provided the endpoint is the existing in your application, this means any middleware after it, it cannot execute it. It will not execute after the endpoint is found. So this endpoint is the last point of your HTTP request pipeline. If the endpoint is not match, okay, if the request for which is not configure, then only the pipeline will request will come down. Otherwise, this is the your endpoint. So that is for startup.cs class we discussed. So thank you for watching.